The NatSec Wonk 66 MMA 66 would love to do a debate or discussion to defend the NSA if you're interested, Susie. Yeah, sure, that would be great. Good luck. Good luck. But sure, by all means, I would absolutely love to hear like why, on what grounds you can defend the NSA targeting like soccer mums in the suburbs, from New Zealand. I would absolutely love to hear why it's critical infrastructure to spy on the entire planet, to have a global network, to map the entire globe. I would love to hear it by all means. But I strongly suggest that before we have that debate that you actually go and watch the last 30 episodes of DecipherYou so that you understand what it is that you are defending before you attempt to have that debate. You might also actually want to go and read You, Me and the GCSB, which is the article that I wrote last year where I completely destroyed all of the talking points of the director of the Government Security Communications Bureau in New Zealand, which is the equivalent of the NSA. For anyone that's interested, it's up on Spinbin. I think that's the link. If not, just go to spinbin.co.nz. But yeah, anybody that wants to debate me and tell me like why it's totally awesome that the NSA has built a transnational spying operation that includes over 100 countries and completely violates the sovereignty of all of them is totally welcome too. I would take the debate on quite happily. Brian Cosby, I completely agree with you that the deep state needs to go ASAP, and people need to understand that the deep state is a transnational operation. It is not just American. Protect What's True says the NSA is a toxic environment um, that they probably end up feeling it's okay to deal this way because dishonesty comes off as inevitable. I remember getting one of many nasty messages I got from New Zealand agents, and they said, you have to submit to the system because you cannot beat the system. That's literally what they said. Like, we work for it because you can't, it's impossible to work against it. They truly believe this, right? Like, that the system is unbeatable. The system is like, whatever. Well, Julian Assange is proof that the system is not unbeatable. Actually, that people of like morals and ethics can make a stand against the system and can change the world despite the system, despite having 800 agents, set against Assange and WikiLeaks. I'm not sure if the person who asked me to debate them about NSA is even still here, Fly. But I did see like halfway up the chat there somewhere they did offer to debate me. That would be very interesting to do. For example, I mean, one of the things that I would love to hear from someone who wants to defend the NSA is like why it's okay that they're ingesting Google Classroom data of 5-year-olds. Yeah, Miriam Strangel, that was basically what they're saying. They're like, well, if you take on the system, you lose, so it's best that you join it. It's like, oh my God, like, is this, and people ask like how the Nazis took over Germany. I mean, this is like pretty much um, bang on. Fly, who did you boot? Did you boot the person who wanted to debate me? Douglas Hoffman I'm pretty sure it's US Negroes, not us Negroes, in the Martin Luther King letter. But I'm not sure why we're talking about the FBI Martin Luther King letter late when we're studying Snowden documents. Okay. I mean, the debate about NSA, there was a really fantastic debate between Glenn Greenwald and General Keith Alexander, and Greenwald just totally obliterated Alexander. I was watching today ex-CIA Director James Woolsey debate Ray McGovern, and Ray McGovern completely just made mincemeat of James Woolsey. So this oh, Laura, you read it with your husband. That's like the coolest thing that I've heard. You actually read Understanding World War III with your husband. What an awesome relationship to be studying like geopolitical analysis documents for fun together. That's my idea of a relationship. That's very, very, very cool. Yeah, I love Understanding World War III. It's a really geeky article. Like there's that does make for an amazing marriage, Laura. That's a very special marriage that you can do that together. That article is it was another giant undertaking. It's nowhere near as big as being Julian Assange, but I think it's about 8,000 words or somewhere around there, 7 or 8,000 words. Um, I wanted to show the current situation in Syria and whatnot in the true geopolitical context of the lead up to World War II. So, and I think I did a pretty good job of that because basically the context of my article, Understanding World War III, is that we were told like that World War II started in 1939, but actually World War II started years and years before 1939. It's just that the public wasn't allowed. The global governments didn't acknowledge to the public that the World War was happening until 1939. And I think that's very similar to the situation that we're in now, where there's been these conflicts in a whole host of countries, but the governments won't admit, they haven't yet told us, they haven't yet declared World War III is happening. So in the history books, they tell us over and over again, World War II is 1939 to 1945, but actually that's not the case at all. It went on right throughout the 30s, and there was already like 5, 6, 7 nations who had been invaded. And there was this internecine global conflict in those nations for the entire decade. And the article is really about understanding that world wars aren't just happening when our governments tell us that they're happening, but they happen when these preconditions are occurring, and we've already seen those preconditions occurring over the last decade. So it's ridiculous to think we're not in a world war just because our governments haven't said that we are. But similar to being Julian Assange, it covers a lot of ground. Understanding World War III moves from point to point to point. There's a lot of different information in that article. There are a lot of really good arguments that I think that's actually true, Brian Crosby, what you've just said. Brian's just said that he heard World War One was the one that never ended until Hitler died, and that there wasn't a World War Two. I think that you can make that argument quite easily, quite easily. Because it was the same, ultimately it was the same parties that were involved in World War II as were involved in World War One. But so much of the history is just bullshit. It really, really is. So when you study the events yourself and you study the timelines yourself, you get a completely different picture from what it is that we're taught in like high school history. totally different picture. Okay, wonderful people. I will just check my Twitter really fast because I know I have like a ton more notifications again. I'm getting DMs from the guy that wants to debate me and wants to defend the NSA. Okay, I have accepted his challenge to the debate. And we'll schedule something separately. If he's willing to openly debate me face to face, that's totally cool. Propaganda, that's a really nice offer. Best thing is for you to join our Discord and coordinate with the other people who are doing event promotions, because they've got all the official material. Yvonne M. Langlois says there are several UK bases which are actually US bases. Yvonne, I did some research into this and I discovered that post World War II there is 100 US military facilities on UK soil. 100. So it's not even an issue of several. There's literally 100. Jenny, the Serverland references are from 2005 NSA documents, so it's highly unlikely. Remember that since then, the NSA has built the whole Utah data warehousing facility. So I'd say that they've long since outgrown Serverland, but I'm just interested to know whether Serverland is a private facility or a government facility. Do you guys have any other questions before I move on to the next documents? Just yell out if you do. Oh, it's interesting that the debate guy said to me he thinks like it will make our show more fair and balanced, like if we have him promoting like the NSA's like talking points on it or whatever. I find that amusing because you don't see the NSA inviting NSA critics to make their publications more fair and balanced. Funnily enough, there is no dissenting opinions at all in any of the NSA publications. They wouldn't tolerate dissenting opinions for a minute. In fact, it's the fastest way to end up on a target list is to internally dissent against the NSA. However, I am more than happy to debate anybody who wants to attempt to defend the global network, the global enterprise, as the NSA likes to call their transnational treason business. Guys, if you're joining the Internet Party Discord, make sure you tag in either myself or Joe, at Joe, who's our tech director for Internet Party, and let us know who you are and that you've come here from the DecipherYou chat so that we can give you the right permissions. Otherwise, you'll just only see the general channel and that's it. Josiah says we see enough of the NSA's side from the MSM. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on with that. Hope says, see the gleam in Susie's eye, she would destroy him in the debate. Well, that would be very embarrassing for him because I'm actually a high school dropout. So if he gets destroyed in a debate by a high school dropout, I would find that extra amusing. I guess I am a high school dropout that's read over 1,000 Snowden documents, though.